Hey guys, welcome to another exciting video from our channel Emotion. The 2022 Lucid Air Dream Edition R is a 966 HP electric luxury sedan with a range of 481 to 520 EPA-certified miles per charge. The latter was witnessed and experienced firsthand by us. Is it the former? Not so much, but you'll have to keep an eye on it. There's also an Air Dream Edition P, which P stands for performance and R stands for range, with 1,111 horsepower and a range of 451 to 471 miles. Now consider this, they're both the same price. Do you want a sleek-looking EV with nearly 100 horsepower more than the Tesla Model S Plaid? Or do you want the car that has more horsepower than any Lamborghini ever made? Outdistances the Tesla Model S long range by more than 100 miles and puts the concept of range anxiety to rest. We can't really answer that because we only drove the Lucid Air Dream Edition R. We, on the other hand, discovered plenty to talk about as a first person not on Lucid's payroll to drive an Air. We'll tell you almost everything about Lucid Air as a YouTube channel without ever getting behind the wheel. Here are the key takeaways from our 2 days of driving Lucid's luxury EV. Quick hits. The CEO/CTO of Lucid is a Welshman named Peter Rawlinson, who arrived at our drive wearing racing boots. He was previously Lotus chief engineer as well as Tesla's Model S chief engineer. Rawlinson's ideal car rides and drives like a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. He believes that the key to electric vehicles is the miniaturization of their parts. The original Tesla Model S P85 rear drive unit weighs 295 pounds and generates approximately 416 horsepower for a power density of 1.41 horsepower per pound. The Air has the same motor in the front and back. Each weighs 163 pounds but produces 670 horsepower and spins at 20,000 RPM for a power density of 4.11 HP per pound. That's more than 3 times better. In addition, unlike Tesla, Lucid bothered to install a proper interior in its vehicle. Out and in design. The 2022 Lucid Air looks great, especially in Eureka Gold. The stainless steel look roof evokes DeLorean nostalgia, and the overall effect is similar to a Citroën DS redesigned for Blade Runner. Some have criticized the design for being overly simplistic, but the form has a purposeful futurism to it that stands out in person. Initially, Lucid offers the Air in black, white, and gold. However, I've seen the Air in a deep oxblood burgundy, which also looks fantastic. Maybe Lucid's first car doesn't translate well in 2 dimensions, but the Air is distinct in person, if not spectacular. The interior is a completely different story. Wow, whereas every Tesla has appeared to ship without a finished interior since day one, Lucid not only crafted a perfectly wonderful luxury car cabin, but it also wisely avoided the screens over everything aesthetic that plagues cars like the Mercedes EQS. In terms of screens, Lucid did a good job of distinguishing between the Model S and the EQS, the other 2 big electric sedans in the market right now. The 3 screens do not dominate the cabin in the same way that their Tesla and Mercedes counterparts do. The rest of the 2022 Lucid Air Dream Edition R is made of fantastic materials, including wood, leather, metal, alcantara, quality plastics, and even linen-like fabric. This isn't just a nice interior for an electric vehicle, it's one of the nicest interiors in the automotive world. There are also physical controls for the fan speed, temperature, volume, and dome light. The 2 small Bear Republic emblems stitched onto the sides of the front seats are my favorite detail. Brilliantly subtle and subtly brilliant. The longest way up. Since the introduction of the Tesla Model S, we've conducted range tests in the following manner. We're going to drive the car exactly 250 miles because the EPA says it has a range of 250 miles. That's 250 miles in scorching heat with no air conditioning, radio, or lights if necessary. There was some validity to this when EVs were new and chargers were scarce, but what about now? Why should you suffer? We know that the majority of the EPA's testing is done at 27 miles per hour. The temperature outside, how quickly you accelerate, whether you activate the Lucid Air's seriously rocking seat massage function, and even the driver's weight all have an impact in the car's range. Because the Lucid has a massive 113 kilowatt-hour battery and the Dream R model has an official range of 520 miles on 19-inch tires, we decided to just drive from Los Angeles to San Francisco about 350 miles, the way a $170,000 car owner would. Straight shot, following the flow of traffic, and if the battery needs recharging, we'll find a charger. Rawlinson was in his own Air Dream R behind me. Lucid's PR and engineering teams were following us, and speed limits would be mostly obeyed, just like the day before an Angeles Crest Highway. At 7 a.m., we drove out of Lucid's Beverly Hills showroom with 503 miles of range displayed. We put the car in smooth mode and set the cruise control at 67 miles per hour. This was going to be a lengthy conversation. The 2022 Lucid Air is quiet, luxurious, and comfortable. In smooth mode, it rides quite well. Just a smidgen of waff, which is desirable in the luxury vehicle. There is some wind noise, but it isn't particularly bothersome. We were on a smooth road with little tire noise. It's worth noting that the Air was outfitted with different wheels and tires on various occasions. On Angela's crest, the car sat on a 20-inch wheels wrapped in grippier, range-sapping Lucid spec indicated by an LMI Pirelli P0s measuring 245/35 up front and 265/35 in the rear. The car rode on 19-inch Lucid spec low rolling resistance all-season P0s, 245/45 front and rear. Why the change? Lucid provides customers with the option of selecting a wheel and tires, and we were able to try both. Even with the large glass roof, the only way it comes from the time being, but a different roof option is on the way. We took Interstate 5 North to 46 West, passing where James Dean died, and stopped for lunch in Paso Robles. We traveled 205 miles and my Air Dream showed 286 miles of remaining range. The good news was that our destination, HQ Milton, which is a wonderful vintage watch shop in San Francisco, was only 204 miles away. We opened the Electrify America app on my phone after parking and discovered 2 Level 3 chargers 5 blocks from our lunch stop. A Level 3 charger using Lucid's 924-volt architecture would have practically refilled the battery by the time lunch was over. However, unless you're a brand new electric car company trying to prove a very specific point, these long-range EV mileage tests are obsolete, and we had no doubts at this point that both Lucids would make it on a single charge. As a result, we didn't connect. Greetings from the new EV world. When you add up the pre- and post-meal legs of our journey, 205 plus 204 miles, you get a total distance of 409 miles. According to the EPA, the range of the 2021 Tesla Model S long range is 405 miles. Yes, both 2022 Lucid Airs arrived in San Francisco with plenty of fuel in their tanks, when Lucid had 69 miles of range left and Rawlinson's had another 107. Why the discrepancy? The Lucid CEO is much better at hypermiling than we are. I simply drove with my usual lead foot and experimented with the various seat massage modes. We hopped back in the Airs and drove 36 miles to Lucid's headquarters in Newark, California. He believes it was worthwhile. We silently agreed with him because we didn't want to show our hands. But what an incredible machine Lucid has created. When we arrived, my limo still had 30 miles left on the clock, while Rawlinson's car had 72. This meant that my 2022 Lucid Air Dream Edition R could have gone 475 miles in a single charge, whereas Rawlinson's could have gone 517 miles. That's a gauntlet thrown down to you-know-who. Also, do you recall range anxiety? It's a thing of the past, just like the internal combustion system. In terms of the Lucid Air, the future has arrived. At the very least, soon Rawlinson and Lucid's public relations department have been tight-lipped about when cars will be delivered to customers, but the company hopes to start deliveries before the end of 2021. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel Emotion for more videos like this one. Until next time.